been pissing me off. So I'm hoping this week will be a really good week. Killing, man. That's what I'm looking for. You see that right there? That's my strategy all day, man. You got the 9 and the 20 sitting right above the price action. The 5 minute plays a big part in this whole strategy also. But look at that shit, clockwork, man. What'd you say? Can you pattern is on the trade you posted where you at the open? Hold on. There is no pattern with the one that dropped out of no, and it was light on the bid. Matter of fact, that bitch before I got in a little later on that short. I watched it later on. I recorded it. I watched reading level 2 and tape. Got any strategies for new traders? Yeah, I mean my hey Papa Bear, I got that too, man. Is what do you say? That's a 3 cent spread. Yeah, at that right. What's a 3 cent spread? Yeah, on that reversal. Yeah, it's a 3 cent spread right now. But when it happened, yeah, it'll. But yeah, it's a. That's all that is, bro. Um. So yeah, sometimes they fluctuate a little bit, man. Yeah. Yo, Papa Bear, I got a bunch of stuff on YouTube, man. Um, about level 2, like I'm talking about, like about. I got a link to your shit. Okay, now that dude, he gonna speak like I talk all day. Now that dude's the truth, yo. Like I pretty much learned this shit from him, yo. Like he said he learned it from me, which is all bullshit. If you, I learned this from him. Like, dude is awesome, bro. That dude's the truth, man. Well, I appreciate him and everybody else, and that's why I made this room, man, so we can all come in here and build together. You can't tell me that a few of us or a bunch of us can't get together and learn together and make money, man, in the market. These gurus are a trip, man. You gotta learn from me and me only. Get the fuck away from me, man. Yeah, no doubt, Kelly. No doubt, Kelly. That's what it's all about. Just learning from each other and just positivity, yo. That's all. Yo, Bully Bear, what up? See you. Are you are in here?
Yeah, what's up, man?
What's you the man, bro? You off tonight?
Yeah, I'm off.
That's what's up, man. Hey, look, man. If y'all don't know, I call him the quiet assassin. I had to get a man a name, but that's Bully Bear, yo. Like that dude's a monster, man. If you could, Bully, I'm gonna ask you a question about the 1 cent spread, bro. Um, could you elaborate on the 5 minute chart, how it works well with the 1 minute chart before the breakdown on these strategies that we use?
Well, I think that whenever you do any type of strategy or any type of trade, it's important to use different time frame
Okay.
because the 1 minute it's faster and it lets you react faster. So for scalping, it's the 1 minute is huge. It's important, but also the 5 minute comes into play because it gives you uh, a longer time frame to go off of. It gives you a secondary confirmation. So you got the 1 minute and the 5 minute working together, then that's just double confirmation. Because with the 5 minute, like I said before, it's a longer time frame. So you don't get shaken out as fast, and you see things from a bigger perspective.
Right.
So if you see if you have the moving averages set up, like I mentioned before, like the 9 and the 20, and you're on the 5 minute, and you're trying to decide whether or not to get in a trade, then all you have to do is look at how close the 9 minute is to the 5 minute, because naturally it's going to be a little bit further away than the 1 minute. Will give you a strong confirmation as to whether or not to get in. So if you're looking at the 5 minute chart and you're trying to make, and let's say the price of the stock is $9.50, and you see on the 5 minute that the 9 EMA is, maybe say the price action is 950 and the 9 EMA is what, 970. It's like 20 cents away from the price action. But you look at the 1 minute and the nine EMA is really close to it, maybe only like 5 cents. And that would tell you that it's a good chance that the price action could spike on you. Because the truth of the matter is, although the 1 minute is a good weapon, the majority of the traders the majority of traders use the 5 minute. Because I don't know if most people watch Mir in his room in the morning. They use the 5 minute for the most part. From in the very opening bell, they may be on the 1 minute, but for the most part, they use the 5 minute. All the big time traders, day traders, they use the five. So if we want to be successful, then we have to use what the majority of the other traders are using. I mean, we can use the 1 minute too, but most everybody's using the five. So that you have to include the five in whatever strategy you're doing if you're day trading, unless you're doing an all day hold. But yeah, like I said, if that 9 EMA is far away from the price action on the five, then I mean it's almost and it's even hard for me to do this because we talk about discipline all the time. You got to be. I mean, the ass might be stacked, the pattern might look good, the 1 minute looks good, but then you flip over and look at that 5 minute, and that 9 EMA is just 20 cents away from the 30 cents away from the price action. I mean, I have to have discipline to say I can't get into this because I'm probably gonna get. It's a high probability that I can get
Yeah,
spiked on.
exactly.
And
Every
sometimes it does continue to go. Sometimes it does continue. Like the other day, we were watching that trade, and the 5 minute looked messed up, and it went. But for the most part, it's normally gonna end up spiking on you. So yeah, you got to have the 5 minute in play in order to to keep yourself safe.
no, I appreciate that.
I don't know if you got. Can you hear me clear? I mean, is my voice clear? I'm not breaking up anything.
No, I appreciate it, man. Um, okay. Y'all have a good night. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's the same thing for me, Bully Bear. Like that, I learned from you too. That non EMA in my head 5 minute chart acts as a ceiling. So like overhead pressure. You know what I'm saying? So if there's a if the price action and the non EMA is 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 cents away on the 5 minute chart, then it acts as a overhead pressure like a ceiling, the non EMA. So I go back to the 1 minute. The 1 minute sets up the way I like we like it to set up. Then it's a wrap, yo. It usually starts off the way we want it to. So like you said, man, that's just that 5 minute works well with the 1 minute.
And to answer your question, Nasdaq student, uh, the 1 cent spread. I mean, yeah, I traded, and that really should be the only strategy I trade. But yeah, I'm always trying other stuff, and whenever I try other stuff, I end up taking a big loss. Like, I was trying that 5 cent spread, and it can work. But I was trying that 5 cent spread the other day. I took a loss. I ended up making the majority of it back, but yeah, the 1 cent spread is that's my go-to. And just to touch on what stock guy was talking about earlier, 1 cent spread, that's not something I came up with. I mean, the truth of the matter is, like I told stock God, I was actually watching one of his videos because I wasn't even using the level two until I was actually watching stock God's videos. So I basically took a strategy that he was using and just kind of customized it a little bit. But for the most part, I learned that stuff from him. Oh yeah, yeah, Cole. That stock there, I think that got both of us. And the thing is, when I was looking at it at the opening, and that's another thing about the 1 cent spread and the stacked ask. When we say stacked ass, I mean we really mean stacked. I mean it's got to be numbers on top of numbers on top of numbers on top of numbers. That's what it means when it says stacked. Now, if you just have, because the level two is showing those different routes. So if you only have one route that's stacked, one route that has a big number and is not really stacked, then that's going to be a dangerous play. That's not really the 1 cent spread strategy. And that play that me and Cole took a loss on that morning, Cole, if you remember on the ask, that was just one big number. It was like 400 something, and the rest of the level two on the ask side was not stacked. So we never should have been in that play because it was not truly a stacked ask. So that's another thing when you come up with a strategy or when you follow a strategy, I mean you have to have the discipline to follow it to the T and not deviate. Because I kind of have that problem, and I'm sure the majority of traders do. Like when you get up a lot in your account, you start getting overconfident and you start taking unnecessary risk. And that's where the discipline really has to come in and say, okay, wait a minute. Now, what got me to was it going out here gunslinging and taking risks, or was it sticking to the plan? And, and the answer is going to always be it's because we stuck to the plan. So we got to stick to the plan when it comes to our strategies.
Hey, this is Matthew, aka the Living Parable. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, bro. Go ahead, talk.
So so I'm just learning. It's great to found your Discord chat here and learning and growing and stuff. And I just thought, just for anybody else that might be benefited from this, just to clarify, from my understanding, level two and the benefit of level two, right? What we're actually talking about is
You cut out. We can't hear you.
What?
You cut out. What happened?
Let me see. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you
Yeah, we
cut
can
out.
hear you.
You cut out completely, bro.
Just cut. From what benefit, right, up to level two is that we can actually see the flow of orders coming in, right? So that for anybody who is just learning this stuff like me, it's pretty significant when you realize what that data is actually telling you. So you're able to see the amount of people sell, right?
Are you talking about?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's exactly right. And not only just the level two, but also the time and sales. That's important too, because you might see something on the level two, but if it's not printing on the time and sales, then it's not really hitting. So the level two and the time and sales.
I gotta
And,
get better at.
and so the idea is, and we could use this.
Time and sales, then it's not really hitting. So the level two.
You can get a good picture of where the price is going to go based on looking at that level two and the time of sales.
Yep, that's right. You can kind of get an idea. I mean, nothing is 100%, but yeah, looking at the level two, and especially if it's stacked, that gives you a good indication of where the price is going to go.
Now, would you just clarify for me what is the significance of the one spread when it comes to all this?
Well, because with the 1 cent spread, okay, let me explain it like this. All right. Now, a lot of times when you get into, like, if you play somebody like Ross, I don't know if you know Ross Cameron's strategy, where he plays momentums, where a price will just shoot up really fast. A lot of times with his strategy, the spreads are really wide. So when I say spreads, I'm talking about the difference between the bid and the ask. So a price might be $9.50, and on the bid, but then on the ask it might be $10. So that's a 50-cent spread. So if you get in on a stock that has a 50-cent spread, you automatically, if you're trying to go long, you're automatically going to be down 50 cents. But with the 1 cent spread, if you get in on the stock that only has a 1 cent spread, then you only be down 1 cent. So it helps you to manage your risk better. If you get in on a huge spread stock,
Absolutely, man.
you can't manage your risk. I mean, it's too difficult because it can go against you real fast. I mean, I told this story before, but the last time I was trying Ross's strategy, I jumped in on the stock, and I normally go in with bigger size anyway, and I'm down $700. I'm like, what in the world just happened? How am I down $700? And I looked at the spread, and the spread was just too huge, and it just kept going against me and going against me. Then it would go back up, then go. I couldn't control it. You can't manage. It's so hard to manage a stock when the spread is wide like that. But when the spread is tight, then you can manage it a lot better. So
and this is that.
Keep breaking up.
And this is a lot more significant when it comes to scalping strategies, right? It's going to be a huge deal compared to maybe other strategies that are over longer periods of time.
Yep, that's right. I mean that's basically what we're doing scalping. I mean it's how you really can't. And the reason we're scalping is because the spread changes. Even if it's it'll be a 1 cent spread when we get in, but it can change on you. But
That's right.
the really good plays, it'll stay a 1 cent spread all the way going down
All the way
until
down.
yep, and
Yes,
it'll give you and it'll give you a clue because the ass will start getting eaten up. The ass will get a lot lighter, and then it'll flip on you, and then it can turn into maybe like a 5 cent spread. So the stacked ass along with the spread, those two have to go together. That's what keeps you safe.
Yes, sir.
Now, do you use a trailing stop or what?
I don't use any stops. I don't even know how to set those.
I mean, you can if you want to, but I mean, but you only the reason you have a trailing stop is because you need that to help you kind of manage the trade because the spread can get out of control on you. That's the purpose of a trailing stop. But with the 1 cent spread, you don't a trailing stop is not even necessary. You don't really even need it because and it's better if you don't use it because uh manually if you click the button without the hard stops in there and the trailing stops, it'll give you a better feel.
Can you see that picture I just posted?
Yes, sir.
So you see that? Look at the ags. I mean, look at the. Now, if you look at the first picture or the second picture I just posted, I got in at the consolidation up there at 1810, I think it was. So I was already in, and I got that 10-cent drop, and then I got out down here at 1790. And look at the ags. I mean, I'm sorry. Look at the bid. Right. I'm going to show you what happens if you stay undisciplined. Right. Let's say you was like, yo, fuck it, I'm gonna stay in, and you can see level two is telling you there's a lot more buyers coming in at night at 1790. Can you see that? Can anybody
Yeah,
see that?
yeah. It's being weighted over to the bid side.
Okay, so I think this. So there's my exit right there. Hold on, I think this is the right picture. Hold on, can't see it. Yeah, that's it right there. You see, I got it at 1810, and look at my exit. I exited because of what I saw on level two, and then look what it did.
Damn, that's crazy how fast that can turn on you.
Yeah, so that happened. I got out down there at this point, and I got in at 1810. I got out at 1794 because of what level two was telling me. So you can't be greedy. You can't be undisciplined. You gotta, So when it was going sideways, you in or did you short? No, I got in at the drop before the drop, bro. You can look at my entry and exit right there. It says right there, I got in at 1810. If you go back to that first picture I posted, I got in at 1810. I got in when it was consolidated.
So basically, to clarify for other people, I think what's really good for you, everybody to understand is, so you're using level 2 to be able to see where you're able to basically see what the price action is going to move like that, and then use the same technique to get out, because if you didn't, you would have just lost all those gains.
Yeah, I would have been hugely exactly. That's all I do. And I use the 9 and the 20. Those are very important. They have to be setting up a certain way for me to use it, for me to short it. But that's what I do.
So the 9 and the 20 give you the setup to start looking.
Yeah, the 9 and the 20 on the 1 and the 5 minute. In order for me to get in, yes.
And then once you're looking, then you move over to the level 2 to look for the price action, to see those order flows come in.
Absolutely, yes, sir. Hold on here. Let me show you.
And just to touch on
once you see those the ask stacking up like that compared to the bid, that's when you know it's time to go.
Well, see, okay, this is what I do. So before I enter the trade, see, that's the 1810 right there. Look at all those buyers. At 1810, it actually had 500 buyers. So what I did was I waited. I wanted to see 1810 get chewed up first. So once 1810 went from 509 down to like 400, then it went to 300, then 400, 17. It went all the way down, and you could see the bids getting smaller and smaller, and you could see the ags getting heavier and heavier, and you could see the 9 and the 20 on the 1 minute getting closer to the price action. It was game time, and then the RXI was sitting in a certain range that I like. It was a perfect setup, and that's why I shorted the fuck out of it. Good to go.
That's beautiful, man. Hey, it's very helpful too, the charts.
And this happens all the time. And if it does set up, it usually works like 95% of the time. So that's why I'm 52-2 right now with this strategy. I have, I just do the same thing over and over and over. Here's another one right here. If you look at all these pictures, they all look exactly the same. I do the same shit over and over and over and over.
And you know what? Just to touch on something that Papa just said.
If you're not, hold on, Bully. Hold on. If you're not talking, can you mute your mic so we can? Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah. I was just touching on what Papa said with there's still a lot of background noise there.
And that's going breakout. You got to put him on mute.
I just did. Hey, Bully, you still there?
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to get rid of this background noise. Hold on.
I just muted on my mind.
His mic is still lighting up for some reason.
Can y'all hear him?
Nah, it's just like his background is lit up.
I muted him on my end. It's quiet now.
If you can't hear him, then yeah, you're good. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I muted him now. Yeah, I was just gonna touch on talking about that, but you also have to be looking at the ass to see if it's slowly getting chewed up.
Yeah, that's what I was.
And that'll give you an indication, because it might be getting stacked. Like you might see 100, 300, or just a huge stack, but then all of a sudden you start seeing that 300 get knocked down to 150. I mean, it's still high, but you're just looking at it slowly getting eaten up. That you might start. If you start seeing these big numbers getting taken out, that means because you can have hidden buyers. Like you might not see a big, huge buyer on the bid; they can be hidden, but you just see that ass getting taken out, so that they might be a hidden buyer in there.
Bully, sorry, not to cut you off. Stock God, he's still live, man.
I mean, if y'all can hear him,
Did you mute him, Scott? Stop.
Mine, but I don't know if I can.
Yeah, you got to mute him for the.
I can hear everybody. I can hear Bull Bear and
From
Stocktalk.
yeah,
straight up. I got you. Thanks, man. I just muted him.
Breakout, man. You got to mute your mic, bro. Your shit is going live, and we can hear you. The feedback.
No, I just turned it on to talk. No. I just turned it on.
Yeah, he good. You good now, bro. You muted him. Just let him know. Stop.
Okay. Somebody tag him. If he's trying to talk, then he definitely got the face. I just unmuted him. No big deal.
Wait a minute, I thought the breakouts were the same person. Are they two different people?
No, it's the same dude. He's just got two accounts.
So let's talk quickly about this last image because
I'm on mute. I'm on mute.
What do you say? Yo, hold on. Before you get in there, go ahead, Tyson. Yo, Tyson, what'd you say, bro?
I was just saying I'm on mute. I'm on mute. I'm listening.
Right, go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro.
He's back. I think he's just trying to. You might have even he trying to talk.
No, I'm on mute.
Okay, so unmute him. Right.
I'm on mute.
No, Tyson's good now.
He's trying to say something, so take him off. Just tell him that his mic is going live, man, and it's really, All
right, yo, I don't know where. One of them, he's got two. But
no, I'm on mute, y'all. Y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead.
This is Matt, aka the Living Parable. So, what I was gonna say was, let's go to that last picture you posted.
A bit.
Because you can see that there's a big fire right there. That's at 34. Now,
okay, let me back up. Let's say you're in the trade at 34, the consolidation, right? And let's say at that point the ax is at 300 and the bid is at 50. Okay, so I click the button. I want to get in because I'm heavy on the ax. It's light on the bid. The bid starts to get taken out even more and more. So that's go time. So I click the enter button. I'm shorting it. Let's say it's selling off 10 cent, 12 cent, 15 cent. It's going down. It's going down. All I'm seeing when it's going down, getting heavy, staying heavy on the ax, and the bid is just light. It's 1, 2, it's just getting smoked, just getting chewed up. And now we come down, whatever, that may be a whole number, a half, or just some kind of support level that buyers want to try to dip. Start to see heavy on the ax. If you see heavy on the ax, like some kind of support level, and we're still heavy, I'm gonna wait just for maybe a couple seconds. If they start to get chewed up, if the bids start to get chewed up, start to get taken out, I'm going to stay in my position. Now, if we can't break that level, I'm saying the ax, and the ax starts to get thin, and now all of a sudden you're starting to see the bids gain support and get bigger and bigger, and I'm going to go ahead and exit the trade. I'm not even going to fight it. And I'm done.
Yeah, so for those of you that look at that last image, what I think is really important here to kind of tie this together is you realize the last image, this is after he exited the trade.
Yes.
So what you want to pay attention to is look at that first green bar. So on the actual chart, that green bar is where now you have the bid has come in, and now the buyers are taking over. So he already got out of the trade. So what you're seeing on the level 2 there is the result of after he got out of the trade, and why you see the ask is so small, and you've got that $1,000 buyer there, and that's why there's that green candle. So now that makes a lot more sense. So this is a perfect difference to be able to show the before and after. If you go up and look at one of the other images that you posted, you can see and look at the chart pattern with the level 2 here. That's really beautiful. And this is going to be really helpful for me for some of my other strategies, just to be able to realize the power of level 2 when it comes to looking at time in my trades.
Yeah, I couldn't do this without level.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like I've seen Tim Grittani talked a lot about level 2 and some others, but this is kind of blowing my mind because it's finally like clicking with me, like in the real world, how this works out.
No, definitely, man, and that's that's a.
You keep breaking up stuff.
Oh, hold on. Can y'all hear me now?
We can.
Yeah, so once it kind of all makes, like he was like, hey, this.
Hey, Stock Guy, you want to push the talk, man, or you just regularly? Because it's cutting out a lot.
Am I put? No, I'm not on push.
Yeah, your voice is getting cut off.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
So you might need to check your sensitivity level or something like that.
How do I sound now?
You sound good. It's just like after you continue to speak, your voice will get cut off.
Okay. I'll try.
And I pretty much recommend everybody use push to talk. It keeps it the cleanest.
No, definitely.
I just want to add in there real fast.
Yeah,
if you guys haven't noticed the pattern yet, it's mostly for the new traders. That if you once you get in the trade, once you're in it, the only thing you really should be looking at is level 2. You shouldn't be looking at the chart, and you shouldn't be looking at your P&L. I mean, you have to. I mean, when I'm in a trade, I am literally hawk-eyed to the level 2. I'm watching every number tick and move, and that's the thing about the 1 cent compared to other stock that have a higher spread is that if you're in a volatile stock that has like a 10 to 30 cent spread, you can barely even look at the level 2. I mean, it's moving so fast and so volatile that you really can't see how the sellers and how the ask and the bid and the sellers and the buyers are stacking up. But when it's 1 cent, you can clearly see it. And I mean, you can see numbers getting taken out, and you can see small numbers coming in, and you can really use precision with a 1 cent spread.
Absolutely, and you can take your time.
Now, this might be an ignorant question, but I just don't know any better. Is there any particular pattern to the types of stocks that are going to typically be a 1 cent spread? What sort of stuff is it that tends to have a 1 cent spread?
Anybody hear me?
You're still breaking up a little bit, but I'll just answer that.
Go ahead.
I mean, basically, we're using TradeNet, or if you have a scanner, you can use a scanner. You just basically have to keep scanning until you find a stock that has a stacked ass and a thin bid. And to answer your question about the pattern, it's normally like a flat bear flag type of pattern. Those are the strongest ones. I mean, it's not any. Those are the best ones. I put it like that. But it doesn't have to be that pattern. It can be a cup and handle, or upside down cup and handle, or some other type of a pennant or something. The main thing I look at to determine whether or not I'm even interested is the level 2. If I'm clicking through these through the stocks on my top 20 on TradeNet, I'm mainly looking at the level 2 as I'm clicking through. So if I see a level 2 that's stacked, if I see a ass that's stacked and a bid that's thin, then I'll look at the chart and see what the pattern is. If it's a flat bear flag type pattern where it's just like you see those pictures that Stock God is put up there, and you see where he circled it, it's like it's just a straight line of price action. and if it's about to break down, you'll see the ass stacked in the bid light. So that it's not really the pattern; it's the level 2. But that flat bear flag is the main pattern.
Sad thing is, you didn't even know this shit was soup you were playing.
I had no idea. That's how you know I don't check shit. Anything, bro. I'm like the laziest trader you'll ever meet. Lazy in the sense of I don't care about all the fundamentals.
I don't give a shit about fundamentals.
I care less about that stuff.
So, I mean, if we need to stay on this some more, we can. But I wanted to ask whenever you're all ready.
Like I'm in the trade. I would literally take my mouse and put it on the buy and sell button, and I won't look at the chart. I'll look at level 2, and I literally just see that shit for hours. Like I'm glued to my computer. I get off of here at 11. I'll probably go on there until like 11:30 to 2 in the morning. Just look at the same. It's just repetition. And then pre-market Monday comes, and I'm that are setting up. I don't. I don't do anything as far as like watch list earlier or a couple days. My stocks don't tell me anything until 8 a.m. Monday morning, pre-market. But that's how I study, man. I will literally just record all my trades. And I think that's that has really changed everything for me. Just being able to study my live recordings. I think that's a big deal, man. Even if you're not on YouTube and all that, just trying to study. I think everyone should record their trades. I think that's a must.
Yes, sir.
It does way better than screenshots. Screenshots, you're not gonna remember how you felt when you entered that trade. Your emotions, two was moving around, the volume was moving around. See that through a screenshot.
Did you explain to him pretty much? I think Bully Bear too. You guys use different time frames, right? Like when I look at the 1 minute and when I'm analyzing, and though I haven't made any trades off of it, I always look at the 1 minute. But I know you guys look at the 5, I think too.
Yes, sir. We look at the 1, but that 5 minute is very crucial. Shout out to Bully Bear for that too. The 5 minute, I need the 9 to be a few cents away from the price action because it acts as a ceiling. That 9 moving average king, that price action cannot handle it. If it's far away, if that 9 EMA on the 5 minute is 20, 30 cents away from the price action, it's a good chance that price action on the 1 minute is going to spike to that. It's looking for the 9 on the 5 minute. So you got to stay away from it. That's my rule. That's my rule. But if that on the 5 minute, if that 9 EMA is sitting hovering right above the price action, and usually on the 1 minute it'll shove it right down. Beautiful. So that 5 minute is crucial, man. Will you trade same next day? Yeah, I mean, I like to look for gap downs, but yeah, hell yeah. If all I need for midday action is just to see that flat price action, that flat consolidation. This is what I look for during midday. This is all I need during midday, like right here. Let me show you. Hold on.
What are you paying in commissions, man?
Pennies on the. I don't pay a lot because I don't. Now, Bully Bear might be a little different.
Yeah,
He's
I mean, it depends on your share size. I mean, I trade in a way to pay for my commissions because I go in with heavy share size. So, I mean, if you're going in with heavy share size, I mean, you can't be losing. I put it to you like that. Like me, you cannot be losing because commissions will eat you up. So, you have to. It's fine as long as you keep that in mind while you're trading. That's why some people that they have a max loss or a certain amount of times that they like. I only do 5 trades a day. I don't do that, but some people say I only do 5 trades a day because they know that they keep going, even if they win a little bit, then the commissions will just eat it up. So I mean, yeah, if you trade heavy share size, you got to keep that in mind.
you see
Yeah,
that.
and for a small account, this is one reason why scalping really doesn't work for me right now.
I think scalps would be great for a small.
Well, it'll work. It'll work, but you have to be successful in your trades, and
Yeah.
you have to trade in a way that covers your commissions.
Now you see that picture. That that's the 9 moving average. One is the 20, and that's the 1 minute. And on the 1 minute, I want to see that blue. I want to see that green and that blue line price action. I definitely want to see the green kind of like right next to it, like it is, and then that 20 just above it. I don't want to see it underneath it. If it's underneath it, it can go long. So you gotta be careful when you're shorting. Um, that does play a part too. I know that my studies, but that's what I look for. And then on the 5 minute, that 9 is not going to be that close to the price action on the 5 minute. It's going to be a few cents away, and that's perfect. That's what we look for. And then you've got the heavy ags. You got the light bid, like you can see on that picture, man. It's pretty much lights out, man. It should sell off. It's very rare that it doesn't, but it should sell off at a
And
point.
see, I'm on the right now from pretty much the strategies I use. I'm on the opposite side of this, so I'm looking for when you guys have beat this thing down to go long, and
All right.
so and to see it that those moving averages cross over the other
Yeah, no,
direction.
and that's beautiful. Like those dip buys, that's great. Now you're not if you're going to do the 1 cent spread strategy. I don't think you're going to find anything that gaps up and then it consolidates and then it breaks out and it's going to have heavy on the bid and then light on the ad. I don't think you might, and if you do, please let me know because that'll be a strategy that I'll look into for myself. But I haven't studied it, so I don't want to say it's not out there. But I haven't seen where you'll get the exact opposite of this, where you'll have heavy on the bid, very light on the ags, some flat consolidation, and then some breakout to the long side. I haven't seen it, but that's not to say that it's not out there. If anyone's listening and you guys love trading long and you want to do a 1 cent spread to the long side, please let Stock Guy know. Because if you're doing it, I want to know about it. I want a piece of that.
That's why I don't go long because you hardly ever see that. I mean, the fact
Exactly.
of the matter is, and the majority of experienced traders can verify this that the traders that go short have a higher win percentage than the traders that go long. I mean that's just a fact. I mean, your success rate is just higher going short. I mean, and it's mainly because of the level 2 and the ass because you can see it a lot clearer
Yep.
going short than you can going long. Because when you going long and you're looking at the level 2, I mean, it just goes crazy. I mean, it gets out of hand for the most part. I mean, you can barely keep up with it unless you have some type of strategy where you can keep up with it. But when you're going short, you can keep up with the level 2 and your entries and exits a lot better.
My account's too small to short. That's part of the reason why I haven't done
No,
any
no, no,
shorting
no,
yet.
no, no, no. True, man. I mean, but trading that, if you trading that could make that possible. And if it wasn't for trading that, I'd be flipping burgers and sitting on the side of the road right now. So, because I just don't have the funds. I didn't have the funds like that. I closed my business. I lost a lot of shit from my business, and I was hurting, man. So I didn't have a lot of funds to start trading, but I have the knowledge and the discipline. I think I can kick anybody's ass because of the way I trade and the way I'm focused because of the guys in here. So if it wasn't for trading that, I wouldn't be able to do this. So there is another option if you're looking to do this type of strategy. That trading that's I don't know, man. Like I said, if it wasn't for them, I'd be in some hot water. So you know,
Yeah, and even without trading that, if you have a small account, I mean, you can still You can still be successful. It just takes a longer period of time. You have to grind and grind and grind, because you can take a $3,000 account or even $1,000 account, and you can short even larger stocks, even large cap stocks, and you can make $50 here, $100 there, and that stuff will just add. And at the end of the month, if you stay disciplined and stick to your strategy, you'll find out that $50 a day, it'll add up. I mean, that'll add up, and you can grow your account.
And that's the thing.
So are you trading on don't you have to have a margin account?
Well, you don't have to. I mean, but it all depends on which broker you're with. I mean, if you're with TradeNet, it's basically a margin account, because you got the intro account where it costs you $500 and you get access to 14,000. And if you have something like Sure Trader, you can put in something like $1,000, and then I think you have access to 6,000. So I mean, it's really no excuse. I mean, a small account. I mean, you can grow a small account if you stay disciplined and you really want.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
think
no, I'm growing a small account. I'm growing a small account with discipline and options right now. But I'm of course, because I'm just hungry as all get out. I'm learning from everywhere I can,
no,
and
that's
also trying to develop what sort of strategy I want to really hone in on to just focus on. And right now, what it's been has been a small, because of the leverage the options gives me.
yeah. I mean, I don't know nothing about options, but pillars that trade options. Money Greens, Beast, he does his thing with it. Where's Rock at? Is Rock still in here? Rock Solid's in here. You know, there's just a few guys in here, man. That Bat Scientists. These guys are just breakout kings. He's starting to do options now. So there's a lot of dope traders in here, man, and in this community. So you know, options. I need to learn that shit too, man. But that's like you said. If you got a small amount of money, you know, you're good at what you can learn them options. These guys, like, rap, dude. Like, you can really make a killing doing options. That's just not my thing yet. But soon it's coming.
Well, you got something that works, and it's like you said. Well, most of the traders that I've heard from that I admire, you know, they say, man, starting out, one of the best things to do is just find one or two strategies or setups that you're good at.
That's the thing. Like, if you get something that clicks with you, I cannot. Maybe that's because of my share size. I don't, because of my account size. I don't know. But right now, today, I'm not holding no stock longer than 5 minutes. I just don't like doing it. So I don't want to force that. Okay, I just try to go with the flow. Just like you trade with the trend. You trade with your personality. You know, you trade with your lifestyle. You know, you got to work first thing in the morning. You might want to swing or trade it in the power hour. I don't know. You got to find a way to do it, the way it works for you. And, you know, all these traders in here, man, all the ones that are successful and the ones that are trying to aspire to be successful, I'm aspiring to be. I'm not these guys yet. Like Bully Bear and Rock Solid. These guys on a whole other playing field, man. But
no, I'm still a noob too. I'm not above you. I'm just trading with a bigger account.
I know, but you guys are amazing. I look up to you. So I'm just being real. And the thing about it, they all say the same thing. They all scream discipline, man. They all scream, you know, they have crazy work ethic. There's no cheating. There's no quick way to this shit. You know, I get so many direct messages, man. I don't pot because half the time they don't want it. They don't want to work. They don't want to work hard. You know, they don't want to put 20 hours a day in. You know, I used to take showers and have my iPad on the sink so I can listen to traders. You know, I walking up and down. I used to be a contractor. I'm listening with my headphones in Home Depot, listening all day to traders. You have to eat and breathe this shit all day long.
Well, I don't know about you, but it's not even a have to. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, this stuff started when I started. I was just interested in the idea of being able to use money to make money. And I know I'm an intelligent guy, but it was all foreign. It was like Greek, you know. But now, yeah, I have to say it's pretty addicting, dude. Like I'm consuming the knowledge, and every day, like, I'm so excited for Monday. I'm so excited to trade.
Oh yeah, boss. You said someone was giving me.
Yo, Stock God, Billy Bears, Young Trader. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, what's up, bro?
Yo, what's good, man? It was just going on to what Matt said. Like, you will never meet anyone else working a 9 to 5 that will say that they're excited for Monday.
Exactly. You won't. You won't. They're excited for can't.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between. People gonna do what they're comfortable. It's all about comfortability. Like, I'm not comfortable. I don't want to be comfortable. I don't want to be normal. I don't want that. I'm either gonna drown or I'm gonna fly above the clouds. That's it. I'm not trying to be normal with these other.
It's get rich or die trying.
That's it, man. That's all. That's it. And there's nothing wrong with work.
Yeah. You and Billy Bear, like this strategy. I was watching the videos for it this weekend and stuff, trying to pick up on it. But like what you guys are doing with that strategy is like it's something special. And I was thinking, you guys should in the Discord room, like on the trading days, you and Billy Bear should be in the chat so that everyone can listen to you. Like for example, because I have the Discord open when I'm trading sometimes, but I can't always be reading it. And then if I'm in a trade, like I forget to read it and stuff. But if I have the voice in the background, for example, and let's just say you guys are watching Starbucks, and then I can have Starbucks on my side, and as it's moving, I can hear your exact thoughts at the same time. I think that'd be such a good way to learn. If that's obviously something that you guys would ever do, I think that'd be beneficial to so many people in here, including myself, so that we can see exactly how your mind is working in that strategy. Oh, this isn't working because of this on X, Y, and Z, and this isn't setting up, or this is setting up. Like all these things, it's like it's just in the moment, so we see exactly how it's working.
No, I agree because it is hard to text, and I'm texting them while I'm trying to put the trade in. I'm trying to get my share amount size set up.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah,
Exactly. And it's just distracting. Whereas if you have the chat open and it's just you and it's just Billy Bear, you two, because you two are the quote unquote the fucking masters of this shit. So you two are in it, then no one else talks in it, and then that way it's like your own DIY chat room, and everyone can listen to you and then watch the same stock that you guys are trading.
Man, by the time Stock God said I'm about to get in, Billy Bear done already made $4,000.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing about that.
Man. Stock God be like, yo, Bully, what you get ready to trade? Bully post a $4,000 winner. Like, God damn, man.
But here's the thing about that. You got to be careful when you're following somebody in the trade.
That's right.
It's because when it comes to your strategy, part of the strategy is also the win-loss ratio. So my win-loss ratio, what's acceptable to me, might not be acceptable to another person. So here's what I mean. With the 1 cent strategy, it has a high win ratio. Like it can be depending on what time of year it is. Like if it's earnings season or something like that, it can be up to 90%. But in a time like this, when the market slows down, it can drop all the way down to like 70%. So here's the thing. Like I might jump in a trade. I might call out Starbucks, and it's got a flat consolidation. I ask the stack, I'm jumping in there.
Bully, you call it
a bunch of other people
already.
Hold on one second. Then a bunch of other people jump in, and all of a sudden, spike. Now that spike is okay with me because I understand that with this strategy, I accept that it's probably going to work during this period of time, 70% of the time, and then 30% of the time it's not going to work. Another person might jump in who does not have that same win-loss ratio and say, you made me lose my money. This strategy doesn't work. Well, with any strategy, you have to accept the win-loss ratio with it. If it's 70%, then you accept the 70%. If the loss ratio is 30%, then you gotta be willing to accept that 30% loss ratio.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if I don't mind talking with him because I know that he's not gonna get mad at me. I'm not gonna get mad at him if I'm not gonna blame Bully. Like, some of these kids are ignorant, and I ain't got time for the petty shit. Like, oh, Stock God screwed me up. I didn't make you click nothing. It would be a big ass disclaimer in there if I even thought of doing something like a live chat while I'm trading. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Here's the
That's
thing.
fair enough.
Here's the thing. Either that has to be made clear. I mean, let's be real. Like the reality is, anybody who's serious about what we're doing here, you know that what you have to do is learn how to fish, right? So the only thing we don't want to be handing out fish because it's going to make you handicap anyway. And
that's
not
right.
only that, it kind of fucks up the strategies as it is. What we
That's
want to do is, even with, if you were willing to do like this man suggested about doing a video, the whole intention would be not to copy this exact trade, but to actually understand the philosophy and the principles behind the why and the what you're doing in order for us
Yeah,
to be able to go
the
out
reason
and
the
find our
reason
own.
Stock God and Billy, the reason I had mentioned that was because, so like this week I was doing I was watching your videos, right, and then on I think it was Thursday and Friday I was trying to follow along with your trades, but then like I was trading my own shit, so then it was going through and reading it and stuff. But if I had just had your guys's, not to follow the trades, not to copy them, like I'm trading on my own self, but
right.
just to see what your guys' mentality is in these trades, to see exactly what you're. I'm doing it from a learning experience. I'm already trading, but I want to learn more. So like
No,
this, for me, that would be an amazing way. Of course, you guys don't have to do it or anything. It was just a suggestion because I'm sure
no,
there's a
no,
lot of
no.
people in
I
this
think
room
it's
that
Great
like.
idea, bro.
I
It's a
think
great
it's cool.
idea.
I think it's cool because then I can talk instead of texting.
Yeah, it's not for people to copy. Like everyone in here is an active member. Everyone talks. There's no
Yeah.
fucking like sheep. Everyone is here to learn.
Right,
And
right.
that what if you guys did that, that would be something to help everyone learn.
No,
That's
I'm
period.
down.
Full stop.
If Bully's down,
Yeah, I'm down with it. I don't mind doing that.
all right,
It's not even that.
Bully,
Sorry,
bully
guys.
like $3,000 in the first 3 minutes, bro. Before he say, bully, bully would be up $3,000 before he even say, good morning, room.
And Billy, you said as well. You said that you don't like. I don't know. Sorry if it was Stock or Billy, but one of you said just there that if people don't like, it's all about risk management. But if someone was to say, let's just say for example, someone was in here copying your trades, they should know their risks. As a trader, that is a basic fundamental, to know your risks and to know how much are willing to lose. So like that can't be on your back. If anyone ever did decide to trade and lose, that's their fault because they didn't know their tolerance and their limit. But like from an educational perspective, like strategy's fucking sick. You guys know it. It works well. But just from a learning perspective, I think that'd be really helpful to
no,
like.
I'm definitely down to do it.
And just so you guys understand, I mean, the 1 cent spread, I mean, it's not difficult to learn at all. I mean, it's got
No,
to be one of the simplest
Exactly, it's fucking
out.
easy.
It's the easiest thing you'll ever. The strategy itself will take you maybe. I mean, if you put in the work, maybe 3 or 4 days to learn, if that. I mean, the hard part of it is the emotion, the discipline, and not. Even with the 1 cent spread strategy, sometimes I have to catch myself because like I'll see a play and it's setting up, and then I'll hesitate to click the button when I know I should, and then it'll drop down,
yep,
and then ask will still be stacked and the bid will be light, but it's pretty overextended.
yep.
So even with this strategy, even when it's stacked and stacked, you still have to look at if it's overextended because you don't want to get caught chasing. You don't want to let your emotion you don't want to let the FOMO set in. The FOMO can still get you even on this strategy.
Absolutely.
Speaking of, is it cool if we talk about some stuff that I'm looking at, that just to
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of switch it up a little bit?
Actually, I want to. You can go next. I want to. Saturday night thing. I'm kind of following his lead. This is his. This is what he does. So I think him and Boss want to talk about some options. So we're gonna get on the floor, and then if you're still gonna be around, I would love to hear what you got coming up in your strategy. Next, that'd be great, man. If you can hear me. Unless Breakout is not ready. If Breakout and Boss isn't ready, then you got it. Oh, you ready? All right, well, Boss, go ahead, man. Jump in, man. You got it, man. And then the other guy, what's his name that was just talking? You still in there?
He was the living parable, I think.
All right. Well, if he wants to go in after breakout, then he's welcome. Yeah, go ahead, boss. You got it. I'm gonna mute my mic. Go ahead, boss. You in?
Yeah, you go ahead, boss.
You there? You ready? Nah, we can't hear you, boss.
Nah, I don't hear boss. You probably got yourself muted, or maybe somebody got you muted.
I just checked it.
Yeah, I don't see him lighting up either.
Hey, can anybody right now before he goes and talk? Whoever's doing the 1 cent spread type. I'm just curious. Whoever's doing it, other than me, just type yes. I know Cole's in that shit. Cause I'm gonna set a room up. I'm gonna set up a chat up this weekend for me and Bully and whoever wants to join on Monday morning. I'll do that, man. We'll do a live room. Call those trades and just try to knock them out together. Okay. Yeah, whoever's learning it or I got you. I got you, Doc. No problem. 1 week left in June.
Hey, can you confirm whether it's just me or are you breaking up Stock God to a lot of people?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Oh my God. You might want to switch to push to talk because that's a lot clearer.
Or check his sensitivity settings. It's cutting out.
Okay, hold on. Let me go look.
Because I'm getting about a third of everything you say, Stock God.
Okay, let me see. Check on. Oh, down here. Voice activity.
Push to talk.
What's that? What's push to talk? Sensitivity. Auto sensitivity.
As they say, the push to talk.
I see sensitivity.
You could do either one, my guy. I mean, you could go to push to talk, or you could, your sensitivity is kind of cutting you out. So you need to kind of make it a little bit more sensitive.
So push to talk. What about this? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, when you use push to talk, every time you talk, of course, you gotta push it.
All right. So how do I sound right now?
Yeah, you sound good now.
All right. I never even knew about this option. Push to talk. Okay. I'll try this.
Look at bad scientist. Really bad. Ralph Tresvant.
Hey, brother,
Doc,
you
I'm
ready,
definitely recording that for you. Hey, Doc, I'll record that for you, brother. No problem.
Yeah, I'm excited to whenever stocks that I think y'all should enjoy at least learning about that are kind of exciting coming up.
He hasn't jumped in yet, so what
he was having problems with his mic, guy. I think he left the room and he was coming back, but his mic was lighting up. It just wasn't engaging. So I think he might have to do something with his settings. But he was talking and it was lighting up.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, what strategy are you trading? I don't want to break down everything just yet. I want to wait till boss comes back, but what is your strategy?
Well, instead of getting into the strategy right now, I was just going to say, I'll just say in short right now, what I'm learning and practicing is basically looking at setups that are good for 1 to 3 days and option calls based on looking at option 52-week highs, and then looking for them to have a continuation the next day, and at the middle of that day, actually go and hold overnight because it's probably the next morning, and either
You're breaking up real
sell
bad.
that next day.
Yeah, bro, your mic is really bad. It was cutting out.
Breaking up really bad.
All right, I'll just be quiet for now. I'll have to move somewhere else.
Now I can hear you okay. We can hear you okay.
Okay, so like take for example, well, I just want to say real quick because I don't know how long you're going to be able to hear me well. Is a couple of things that's pretty interesting right now. Of course, Starbucks, because of how beaten down it's gotten. It's not just the fact that it's gotten beaten down so much as it is to realize that over the last 6 months, their actual earnings compared to their stock price has been completely out of sync. Like for their industry, they actually should be trading quite a bit higher. So it's very possible that there's going to be a nice reversal here soon, and at least even something whether you want to scalp or look at going, a swing trade or something. That's what I'm going to be doing with Starbucks.
No, it's crazy because Mir talks about that too. He always talks about going long on stocks that people like to buy, like
So,
like Starbucks.
you guys hear me?
Who was that?
That's me, Gustavo. So I know a lot of people that they kind of like saw this. We're talking about Starbucks, right? And they're buying calls for January because they're waiting for the bounce back. The calls for January, I think they were like pretty, like there were cents, like 50 cents, something like that. So I know some people are loading on calls, anticipating the next earnings, which should be good depending on looking at the trend that they've been doing. That they've been, I think they've been beating every earning so far.
Yes, they are, and they're not only beating earnings, but the price doesn't really reflect it yet. So it is a good time. At least, of course, you don't want to get in before it could still go down more. So you might want to, wait to see when there's confirmation of the trend change, or at least on a short time, depending on how long you want to be in the trade. But if you were taking out some long calls, like in the distant future, that's a pretty strong probability right there. Another one, just on that same note, is FedEx. Their earnings came out; they beat earnings, and of course, they're because of the craziness with all the trade talk. That's why people suspect that's why they were hit so hard. The stock's beaten down; it's way oversold right now.
What stock was that you just mentioned?
FedEx, FDX.
Okay, FedEx. Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised. Even if you just watch it or something to put on a watch list for those who are interested to see in the next beginning of the week what happens there, because we're likely going to get a nice little bounce if you want to go even for just a quick day trade or a swing trade.
Yeah, I see it's at the 200 on the daily.
Yeah, and go look at in history what happens at that 200. You already know.
See right here, yeah. Back in March, it bounced a little bit off of the 200 and went up. I like FedEx better than I do Starbucks because FedEx moves. The ATR on it is roughly around $5, so it is a movement.
Yes, sir.
Starbucks don't move enough for me to play it, especially as an options play.
Yeah, for Starbucks, I was looking at some January calls or something a lot more further out because of that.
Yeah, you got to go out. Definitely got to go out on that. and I don't trade that far out as far as options, so wouldn't do me any good. But I like FedEx. Let me make sure FedEx is on my list too. It's not my reason. We will add it. How it used to be, and I might have took it off, but we got it in there now.
The only other two that I will mention briefly for now is that I'm looking for on Monday or looking at is DXS and DHT. Both of those are in the oil shipping industry. The sector's up, and there's a number of reasons that is something to look at.
What was your DSX and what was the other one?
DHT.
Okay. These are just regular stock trades, right? You're not. Yeah, this ain't no option mover or nothing like that. So these are just regular stock trades.
I believe that the DXS I would be doing a short-term stock play. One of them, I can't remember if it's the DHT or the DXS, but there was one that had some good open interest and volume that I was looking at.
It just doesn't move enough. I mean, it wouldn't be a play I would take. DHTs, the ATR on it's like 15 cents. No good for me. ATR around 18 cents. That's something I would play, but you know, this would be more of a stock play for me.
And what is it that what do you look for between? What's the difference, or what do you look for to distinguish between whether it would be a stock play or an option for you?
Well, on a just me personally, I like to see an ATR of above $3 for an option play. You know, because I'm not going to keep I day trade. You know what I mean? So I buy weeklies like most of the guys in here do. It's just weeklies, so they need to be heavy movers. But I mean, everybody likes it a little bit different. You know, that's just me. You know. That's a nice little. You up that much breakout? That's a nice little 16 points, man. Wow, that's nice. Yeah, me too, Rock. I'm like $3 plus on the ATR for options. It's got to be,
Yeah, I like to get in and out like quick.
Yeah, me too.
Is good.
Good. That's you hit it right on the spot, man. That's my thing too. It's got to have at least 3+.
That's why I play Tesla and all those big ones.
Yeah, the heavy beta joints, man. They move, dude.
Yep. Yeah, all day beast mode. It's the only way.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I know, Bats. It is. It just some days it just doesn't stay there. I just don't, Plus to be honest, Bats, the SPY is choppy, man. You really gotta, like you said, be trading the fibs on that, cause it could be all over the place, man. That it's very hard to trade, Bats. I give you my hats off to that, man, because it just doesn't really stay in one direction. So you really got to use the pivot points on that, man. Yeah, it's rough, Bats. I watch you periodically in the mornings, man. I take my hat off to you, bro. That's a rough stock, man. I'll be watching it. I'll be like, God damn. If you're not playing pivot points or fibs, fib pivot points on that, you can lose easily on the SPY, man. It is tough, man. Yeah, it's wicked, Rock. I agree with you, man. I'll be real skeptical about playing it too, man, because, man, it's all over the place.
Well, SPY works a lot better for a little longer time frames if you look at the setups for like right now.
I never even knew you could play the SPX. I mean, I just found that out. I forget who it was that told me that, but I didn't even know you could play that. I thought you just had to play the Spy. Comes to find out, you could actually buy options on the actual S&P. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I wish I could but I've got
You're breaking up real bad, Bats.
hold on.
Yeah, boss. I think it's in your settings because your mic is lighting up, boss. So you gotta have to switch. Probably if you go over to the something in the settings, boss. I mean, under voice and video, you might have to look at and find out what your input and your output is. I think that's what you probably need to check, boss.
Hey, so is that Stockbot? Does that automatically do that, or is somebody posting that?
Sorry, hey, Money Green, can you hear me? This is Bad Scientist.
Yes, I got you loud and clear now. What's up, champ?
Yeah, nothing much. Yeah, I wish I could trade SPX, but I can't. I have restricted trading, so it's not on the list of ETFs that I can trade that are not subject to the,
right,
to the FINRA rules. So, but those of you who know I trade the SPY, I wish it had a higher ATR for sure, but you mentioned it being choppy, and it tends to be choppy in that first hour, which is why I don't actually look at it in that first hour. I've got a strategy where you can trade it in the last 2 hours of the day and basically wait for it to hit a new high of day or new low of day, or retest the high or the low, and then just simply trade the reversal.
But yeah, it's been I've seen you do that. It's been selling off at the end of the day like crazy too.
Correct.
Yeah, I've seen you've been banging it. You've been banging it real good.
Yeah, I mean, when you're at the level that I am now with the SPY, because I've been trading it for 2.5 months now, and I've done a lot of work on the historical prices. I know exactly that the SPY averages $2 a move. So when it's moving and it's choppy and just in the 50-cent range, I pretty much wait for it to establish, a higher move beyond that. And then for those even who don't have time to day trade, just wait until the end of day and trade the reversal, or at least the last 2 hours. But I'll be talking more about that tomorrow. I'm gonna have a specific SPY chat in my Discord room tomorrow at 9 Eastern, 9 p.m.
Bats, you said you have in the chat.
You guys still on?
We're here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would join tomorrow, Bats, but I can't be around clowns like Lloyd, man.
Oh, yeah. I know the issues you've had with him and so on. I hope he's on his best behavior.
Fucking pussy.
Yeah, but I'm sure being my Discord room, if I ask him to settle down, he'll be fine. I mean, he's one guy of many, so would hate for you not to be there because of him.
I'm
He
just
can.
talking shit. He can't move me, bro. I'm gonna be in there.
Okay.
I'm just talking shit.
But yeah, Stuttgart, I wanted to mention, like you mentioned, you had 50 wins in a row. That's crazy. I will get there. Mine isn't that as successful, but you'll notice with very, very good traders is they seldom lose. And that's at least the one thing I have in common with you with my trading, because people are like, okay, please post your losses. You're just posting your wins. And my response is,
Weeklies with high deltas or out of the money, low deltas? What?
you you mentioned Delta. I don't even look at Delta. So my strategy is basically if you think of hot water, cold water faucets or taps, you're trying to find a good balance between your position size and your expiration dates. Because I'm looking at taking high probability trades, because I trade the reversals of high of day, low of day, um, and it's a very high probability trade. I don't even care about Delta. I don't care about any of the Greeks. They don't do anything for my trading because almost like stock god I'm scalping, but when you scalp with options it's incredibly profitable.
Yo, Lord.
Yeah. You good?
Yo, yo, yo.
You got your thing ready?
Tyson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tyson, you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Yo. Yo, Tice.
Yeah, I'm talking back to you.
Yo, Tice, you might want to check your control settings, like your main settings. I don't know if you got an iPhone or whatever. Make sure your microphone's type is connected in that. Maybe that was the issue. That was the issue for me.
Can you hear me? So you still can't hear me?
Yeah, let me know, man. I can't hear you yet, but when I hear you, I'll let you know.
And that's because I went with an out of the money. Or I went with an out of the money option, and it was a same day expiration. So that's as high risk as you get, is doing a same day expiration, um, and then going out of the money. And because I know how the SPY moves day to day, I can actually risk something like that. What I found though is that there's no need now for me to go for even same day expirations or going way out of the money, because now my position size has increased. And like the hot cold water tap, now that my position is higher, I don't need to go for those, bigger gains, because I'm going in with $5,000. If my target is $500, that's a 10% gain. I can make that in just a few cent drop, because my position size is so large. So you have to, trading the SPY or anything else is as much of a science as it is an art, because you have to know, okay, for my position size, especially for newbies who are starting, if you're starting with a few $100 and you're trying to, make 50%, let's say, on like $200, obviously then because of that position size, you would then have to factor in far you pick for an expiration date and so on, whether you're in the money, out the money. But in my case now, because I'm trading with an average of $5,000 per trade, it now means that I don't have to do same day expirations. I can pick an expiration that's a week out, or day after today. I can pick something that's 2 days out or 5 days out. And so yeah, it's an art. If you have a large position size, if you're risking more, you don't actually need to go in with riskier trades.
So yeah, you can be more conservative with the position size being larger.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I got started with I did $250 on, I think it was Fitbit, and my very first options I did 1600. I mean, 1600% gain, and the course was like, holy shit! And then
wow, yeah,
that was definitely a one-off.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy. And yeah, I can definitely attest to that. The SPY, depending on what expiration you trade, can move as much as 1500% in one day. is especially if it's a same day expiration. I know one of our traders here, ATR trader, he or ATL, sorry, ATL trader. He'll typically just wait until the end of the day and then go in with a quick scalp on a same day expiration and make some gas money. So there's so many ways that you can make money on the SPY. Because I've looked at the SPY's historical prices for the past year and the past 10 years, I can tell you that, like I said, the SPY moves around $2 a day. But if you typically get in on the low of day, the previous day, or at least around the low of day, and then trade it the next day as it goes to the high, you actually have a 98% chance of making money. So out of the 251 or 252 data points on the historical prices of the SPY, um, the only time that strategy doesn't work is about 5 or 6 times, which is 2%. So if you wanted to trade like the SPY like a robot, you actually could just go in on the low of day the day before, sell at the high the next day, and you'll make money every day instead, with 2% failure rate. So those are good odds, actually. If you do it the opposite and you buy puts at the high of day, and then try to sell it at the next day's low, you've got, I think it's a 91% chance of succeeding with that. That one's less probable. And then once again, the strategy doesn't work. For instance, like if you're going in low of day with calls today, and let's say there's a gap down, then obviously you're less likely to succeed there. But in a case like that, if I wanted to give myself time, then I pick an expiration that's at least 2 days out, or the next expiration. If it's a Monday that I'm going in, I'll pick Wednesday or Friday for Wednesday Friday expirations on my contract.
And I just have to say, by the way, Bat Scientist, this is I'm very grateful for everything you're sharing. This is great. And same to Stock God and the others. I'm really enjoying this. This is, of course, my first time getting to be here with you guys. For anybody who is listening to us and is into options, I want to warn you that when you get started, do not be too greedy. If you start seeing, exactly. You will find over and over that just as happy as your face was because of how much you saw things move in your direction, they will just as quickly go the opposite on options way faster than stocks. So get comfortable with being happy with a win, no matter what it is.
Exactly. I definitely second that. People ask me why I'm so successful. I'm only focusing on one ticker. So I know it in and out. I know how it moves. Second, I'm not greedy. Like I said, I go for 10% gains as a minimum. If I'm like put $5,000 into a trade and I'm like at $300 or $400, and it's not moving the way that I want, then I'm out. Then maybe today I just made $300, but then tomorrow I'm going to come back and make $3,000. You always need to live to trade another day. And a lot of people, especially, I find it difficult to explain, compounding and percent gains to people who trade nothing but penny stocks or OTC stocks, because they're trying to get those 500% gains or 1000% gains. With options, you don't need that. You've got the 100x leverage already wrapped up in the option for you to make, solid gains every day. And you really don't need, you really don't need to try to swing for the fences to make 100% or 1000%. That's the beauty of options, because you have that leverage of 100x. And yeah, I agree. Don't be greedy. For me, my percent gain minimum is about 10%, and because I'm on options, I'm almost guaranteed of making that 10% every time I trade. So as a minimum, that's 500 a day, 2,500 a week. That is my gain. But if I don't make that, I'm also disciplined enough to say, hey, I made a couple $100. Let me get out. I can still trade tomorrow.
One of the things I love about your strategy, and this is why my ears perked up as you described this more. I was trying to do something similar with the futures, but
Okay.
of course, because of my account size, I wasn't able to really do that. But here's what's amazing for people who are maybe interested in this is that your strategy does not require the most complicated part about options, which is really fucking complicated until you get your head wrapped around it, is how the Greeks play off of each other. And like you said, you're not even worried about that. And
Right.
so the two things I would point out for anybody hearing this or that's interested in this is one, this sort of play with options like you're describing, while you don't have to worry about the complicated mess of the Greeks as nearly as much, if hardly at all, um, that only relates to the short time trades, in-day trades, and with specifically with equities or things that you have a very well established pattern where there's a lot of liquidity and these things there's a high volume, because if you don't have that, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work on, you see some other stock and randomly you think you could try this, it may not work.
Exactly.
The patterns like the SPY and some of these other indexes are very predictable to the point where, as you had mentioned, those stats, when you back test them, you find that there's so many of them that, I mean, it's like a no-brainer, with regards to looking at if you get in at the overnight. There's also, I can't remember, is it 70 or 80% that it's gonna hit the overnight high?
That I haven't looked at, but that could be something definitely I should look into. I haven't looked at extended hours trading and how the SPY trades, during, after hours and before hours, but that's an interesting stat. That's pretty good.
Well, the reason why I even thought about it was because of what you had brought up. I was like, wow, I can't remember what it is. It's some really, really high probability. Then I'm like, imagine if you added to the one you already described in a given day,
Can you hear me now?
to on top of that, added
I've been trying to call you for a minute.
the probability of it reaching an overnight high, then you could even be more confident.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're doing as traders, which all we're trying to do here is to find high probability trades. And once you get into a high probability trade situation, that's what gives you the success that you need.
So you're basically on your chart. I imagine you have your support and resistance lines that you're using to look at price action.
No, my connection's fine. I'm going to push the top. My connection.
So who's in the back there? Someone needs to be muted in the background.
My connection's fine.
Getting interference. Sorry, repeat your question. Sorry, I didn't catch all of it.
I was basically saying I'm imagining what you're using for being able to judge price action is going to be basic support and resistance, where you're looking at daily charts and then actually making your moves though down to the 5 minute.
Yeah, so actually, because I'm day trading, I actually don't really need to look at daily charts, which brings me to the point of when someone asks me what's going to happen to the SPY tomorrow, I tell them I don't care, because when I day trade it during the day, yes, you're correct. I am actually using basic support and resistance, and if you want to cheat, you can use Fibonacci retracements. Or pivot points. I tend to prefer Fibonacci retracements because you sometimes have a situation where the SPY will only trade between pivot points and not have enough movement to go across multiple pivot points. But with Fibonacci retracements, as each higher of day, low of day is set up, I'm actually recalculating or redrawing those Fibonacci's. And then those of you who've seen me trade or listened to, what I do in my trade is along with the Fibonacci's that give me support and resistance, I've got VWAP in there because a lot of day traders use VWAP, and VWAP acts as excellent support and resistance. And that's about it. If I need trend to like a trend indicator, I can stick in the Ichimoku cloud if I want, or like RSI. But I would say, as a minimum, if you can read just support and resistance, that's all you need when you're trading SPY options. And like I said, I want to make a disclaimer that because I only study the SPY, everything I'm saying, it might, you might be able to apply it to other tickers, but when I make any claim that I make is specifically for the SPY and nothing else.
I'm just curious, have you considered using the same thing with the was it the SPXL, the 3 times leveraged?
Yeah, I wish I could. I can't. Those of you who don't know, I have restricted trading because my wife works for JP Morgan Chase. So there's only a small list of ETFs or indices that I can trade that don't require pre-clearance and don't require, any special rules for me to trade. The SPY for me is the best thing that I could trade right now, especially with my strategy. SPX, unfortunately, even the VIX, I can't trade any of those. The other two I might consider trading once I get bored of the SPY, which is unlikely because I've been doing this for 2.5 months and it's working for me. But the other two ETFs that I can trade is the Russell 2000 IWM, it's called, and then the emerging markets ETF, which is EEM. EEM actually is interesting because it's the only ETF that's actually more liquid than the SPY in terms of volume traded, daily volume traded. If you look at the ETFs, the EEM will often be the first most actively traded, then the SPY is under that. But the SPY is beautiful because of its ATR, average true range. It's got, a decent range, $2 per day it moves, but I think the ATR is pegged at about $2.50. And so, yep, the SPY, unfortunately, to answer your question, is the only thing that I can trade right now that gives me what I need.
All right, boss man, we got you ready.
Yeah, boss. What you want to cover, bro? With your about your
Yo, what's up?
Hey, thanks,
What's up,
Matt.
fellas? You guys hear me?
Thanks, Matt.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
Matt.
I can hear you.
All right,
We're
cool,
gonna-
man. Yeah, man, boss
Hey,
trades.
boss.
Coming from Boston, Mass, fellas. Just here to share my experience.
Oops, where'd you go, man?
Yo, you guys hear me? My fault.
Hey, you're in Boston, Mass, bro. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Boston. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, fam.
Yeah, we hear you now, man.
We hear you, man.
Yeah, so I'm on the East Coast here. Just like I said, I'm just trying to, been trading for about a year. I'll talk for like 10 or 15 minutes and then take some questions towards the end. And then, just try to share my experience with you guys, my ups, my downs, that kind of thing. So I'll just go in, you guys, and I'll
Yeah, go ahead, boss. You good? Hey, boss. You can access this room too,
All
bro.
right.
You can access Stock God's Discord room throughout the week and stuff too, man.
All right, so I'll just go in, fellas. So, you know, about I knew a little.
One second, hey, boss, 1 second. I just want
All
to
right.
say before you get going, anybody on here who is trading and actually is documenting what they're doing on YouTube, would you guys mind put your YouTube channel into the chat so that we can see that? Only person I have so far is Stock God. I subscribe to you today.
All right, cool. Y'all ready? All right. So let me just break it down for you guys a little bit. You know, I knew little to nothing about trading about a year ago. Start off with, you know, YouTube videos, you know, the Sykes, like the, you know, the Ross Camerons, all that shit. You know, Stock God kind of, you know, took me under his wing at the very beginning when I was first learning out. Shout out to the RSI dip buy strategy, because that was my shit back in the day when I was trading was trading them penny stocks.
I knew he had to go. He hadn't gone all day.
So anyway, started about a year ago.
Praise
You know,
him.
Robinhood account was opened on July 7th, 2000.
Where'd you go, bro? Your mic cut out or something.
Yo, my fault. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right, so straight up, I love Robinhood. You know, I don't. You know, people say what they want about Robinhood. You know, commission free. You know, they dropped their. You know, their commissions are free. Robinhood came out, friggin'. All the big firms had to drop their, you know, their commissions. You know, so I used Robinhood, never had an issue with it. Yeah. So I bounced around, you know, the penny stock chat rooms, lost about 50% of my account within the first 6 months. All right. So first 6 months, you know, I started my account off, you know, was probably sizing in too much as well. Just fucking not being a smart, you know, not being a smart trader with the penny stock. And straight up, I was just terrible at trading penny stocks. No matter what I did, it wasn't for me. So yeah, I bounced around the penny stock chat rooms. You guys know who they are. I don't gotta call their names out, but it's trash. Felt pretty shitty after losing about I know, Stock God, I know, bro. So after losing about half of my account, right? Told myself, you know, fuck this shit. In 6 years or less, I'm gonna have the choice to do this thing full time. You know, if you're not committed in this game, straight up, and you're not passionate, you just don't belong here. You just get eaten up by the sharks. All right, so let's see here. y'all are ridiculous, man. Yeah, man, I'm just trying to, because I haven't been you know, I've been trading for very long, but you know, the story gets interesting. So anyway, tried a variety of strategies. None of them were really working for me with these penny stocks. All right. So Robinhood, if you guys, any of you that have Robinhood know that they added options trading this year, right? So I figured, what the hell, try it out, right? All right. 3 years, Lord, shit, man. Still, I hope I'm trading full time. So anyway, since Money Green is the clown out here, first options trade, right? Was a return over 100%. Mind blown. Straight up, mind blown. and I am under the friggin' PDT rule, just like a lot of you beginner traders. All right. You know, and actually that's done me. It's done me actually a service, you know, the PDT rule. So learn to work around it. All right. PDT rule, what's that? If you don't know what that is.
Man, he's joking with you. He's joking with you, man. We got jokes in here, man. He's a very fluent trader, bro.
I can tell, man.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Yeah, he's fucking with you, man. But lately, how's your options trading been going, man?
But yeah, I'll just continue with the story, bro. It's not too long. I'm almost done. So yeah, studied the hell out of options. All right. Let's see here. Joined a few chats to learn as much as I could as soon as possible. Everyone has their own view and opinions on chat rooms. You know, they've helped me. So you got to find what works for you, straight up. All right. So to this date, all right, I started with 500, added to it until it got to about 3,000. Lived way beneath my means. Ate crazy amounts of pasta. Lost 50% of it at the start again with those penny stocks. So I was down to about $1,500. So yeah, I'm down to about 1,500. So within the last 3 months, I turned that $1,500 into about 11,000 playing options.
That's fucking awesome, dude. That's awesome.
So yeah, so I've actually withdrawn my original investment, which was $3,000, and now I just play the market with house money.
What's your process behind
that,
bro?
Even if I completely blow up my account at this point, like there's no risk because I've already withdrawn my original investment. And I think that's really important. Like if you guys are hitting these big winners and these option plays and you're not withdrawing your money, you're just gonna make a bad decision. You know what I'm saying?
Can you explain for us what you mean by playing with house money?
All right, so when my original investment in my account was $3,000, right? So I grew that to about 11,000, and then I took out $3,000 and put it back into my bank account. So essentially, I'm only playing with profits at this point.
Okay, that's what you mean by that. You're not talking about margin.
No, I don't trade on margin. I have a basic Robinhood friggin' account. I think I have like Robinhood Gold, like the first tier. But yeah.
Why do you? What's the benefit for you for using Robinhood Gold for those of us that are interested?
It's not really much of a benefit, to tell you the truth. You can do pre-market trading, and it gives you like $1,000 of buying power, but I don't use margin. I don't use the extra buying power. I only trade what's in my account.
Hey, well, that pre-market could be good. And how much is that?
It's like $6 a month, So if you do the math on that, it's about $70 a year. In comparison to TD Ameritrade or Charles Schwab or Fidelity, these guys are charging $5, $8 a trade, and commissions, can really eat up, especially a small account. If you got $1,500 to $3,000 in your account, commissions are just going to eat that. So I recommend, any, beginner traders, they should try Robinhood out and give it a chance. So anyway, yeah. So I just want to share a few of my trades here, and then I'll give a few indicators that I use, and I'll hand it back over to Tyson and Stock God and those guys. But so one of my biggest trades to date was on an Amazon contract that went from about $1,000 to $5,000.
Bruh. What's your process behind your trading options?